What about, everyone says bring your authentic self to work, right? Is that really bring your authentic self to work as long as you agree with what I agree with, or please bring your authentic self to work?
That's absolutely what most people mean. Most organizations say it so cavalierly. Oh, bring your authentic self to work. It's like the Statue of Liberty. Bring me you're hungry, you're weak, you're weary, you're poor. And then when people come here hungry, weak, weary, and poor, we're like, oh, we didn't mean you. And that's what happens. It's your authentic self, as long as it's not an affront to my authentic self. And what we haven't done is what I even talked about in my TEDx talk. We haven't done the thing about teaching people conversational competence. So what happens when our authentic selves clash in the workforce? Give you a very simple example. I have a Jamaican background. So what happens when my authentic food, because I love a good curry, clashes with your sense of smell in the office, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, who is warming up that pungent odor that I cannot stand? That's authentically who I am. If I come in, you're going to get some curry. Right? And that's a very simple, non-threatening example, but it's just a microcosm of what is really happening on the grand scale. What happens when these authentic selves clash in the workforce? And since we're inviting it, are we actually teaching people how to deal with those clashes, because they are going to happen?
Definitely. Because, a lot of people want diversity, right? Diversity of thought, backgrounds. There's a whole drive for hiring, diverse people. When I'm doing my searches, people want a diverse slate to choose from, all of these things. So, and to your point, it doesn't sound like people are doing enough to actually onboard them properly and then integrate them with the company culture,
right?
Or even building the right culture necessarily.
And even the training part of it, because this is something that has to be trained. Think about your own career and your own trajectory as a business owner and as a professional. When did someone stop and say, Lewis, I'm going to teach you how to be competent in the conversation? Never. They don't. We don't even teach it in school. So what we say is, okay, don't talk about those topics because they're impolite.
I was just saying that, when I was growing up at school, people said, do not speak about politics, do not speak about religion, don't speak about race, don't tell people you're Jewish, those kind of things, and then you enter the workforce, and then, I don't know, for me, I can't help it. I just find it really interesting, but I think I'm able to, the thing with, with humans is that you can hold two opposing views in your mind, right? You should be able to have a conversation with someone who disagrees with you, but it doesn't have to get heated. And we should be able to still be part of a high performing team together.
We should be, but most of us aren't, because even as we talked about before, humans are tribal people. When we walk into a room, before we say, let's talk to everyone, we do a quick scan of the room and figure out who is most like us. Yeah. And we will likely navigate to that person. So we spend a great deal of our time talking to people who are aligned with what we already believe. So most often in our most common or most frequent interactions, we aren't challenged. And so when we meet that challenge, one, it's a muscle that we haven't flexed regularly. And two, we see it as an affront as opposed to a difference. And one of the things I teach my clients is that different and wrong are not equal. They're not synonymous. And so we need to be able to converse with different and not make it equal wrong. When we don't make it equal wrong, we don't feel a need to convert that person, right? That's where most of the arguments come in, is because if you don't change your mind to what I believe, then you're telling me I'm wrong, and no one wakes up wanting to be wrong.
That's so true. But it also happens at the boardroom table. If we're part of a committee, what you find mostly is people who shout the loudest tend to try and get their view across. You're shouting about the pros of your idea. the cons of your idea, but you're just shouting about your idea.
Mm-hmm.
And when most people have a conversation, they're just trying to convince the other person that their way is right. You know,
absolutely.
In a board situational committee, you know, if everyone's thinking about the same problem together, you know, okay, that's your idea. What are the pros? What are the cons? And you all go around. Much better decision making. But I don't know what it is. And look, I drift into it too. You know, if we're having a dinner together and I'm talking to you about something, you just slip into, I'm trying to convince you that my way is the right way. You know,
but that's what we've been taught. We've been taught healthy arguments or healthy debate ends in everyone being on the same side, right? We haven't ever really been taught that healthy debate can actually end with both people feeling the way they feel, and that being different and it being okay. We haven't been taught that. A healthy debate, even I used to be on a debate team. I used to coach debate, and winning means I prove my side and you're a loser. And no one wakes up like, let me be a loser today. Today is a good day to be a loser. So I'm going to argue my point until I convert you, because that's what I've been taught healthy debate is. Healthy debate is winning, and winning is all of us being on the one side when this is over.
True. But if we all win, we all win.
Right.
You know? So, you know, well, look, some people say it's about the taking part. I think it's probably about the winning. But in the debate stuff, I mean, you know, when you're trying to come up with good decisions and you want to make friends with people, and it's fun to have friends from different backgrounds who think differently. And, you know, I don't know what it is, but we just need to just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, we need to be open. I think what happens is admitting that you're ignorant is somehow an affront. And so instead of admitting that we don't know, we make faux pas, or we don't have conversations that we should have, because it's not okay to say, you know what? I've never been around many Jewish people. I don't know a lot about the Jewish culture, and I may say something that's ignorant and offensive, and please hold me accountable for that. That feels like an affront, right? It feels like, oh my gosh, I'm admitting I'm being vulnerable. But we don't learn outside of vulnerability. We don't learn outside of acknowledging a lack of knowledge and asking someone to help fill that void where there's a lack.
Definitely.